The resource nurse on weekends or evenings, the RN3s, nights, if you get an antibiotic order, we're asking you to go in and fill out the very beginning of this tool that's online. Just the basic name, like I was saying, the antibiotic, the symptoms that you should be aware of because you've had the SBAR. There's more to the tool we'll see later. That'll be my job or the pharmacist's job to go back in and track as the antibiotic's going along. Was it reviewed at 72 hours? Was it effective? Did it have to be changed? A lot of that information is farther down in the tool that you won't have to do anything with. When an item is entered in there, we put a new person's antibiotic in there, there's an automatic notification that goes out to all of these people. So we'll get a line for that.
So as a backup, because I know I'm gonna forget to input new orders into there, is pharmacy going to make you copies of the antibiotic orders as a backup in case
Yes.
you forget? Okay.
That's a good question. So as a backup, I get, pharmacy sends out an end of day report that has all of the orders they have filled for the whole day. And I get that every day. So when I come in on Monday, I'll look at the Friday one, and then I'll also get one on Monday. And, but it might take me till the end of Monday before I see there was that antibiotic started on Saturday. Hopefully not, that I can catch that sooner. But that is our double check system.
Okay, so you'll call us if we forgot. Okay.
So I will maybe. And it's definitely, I mean, it's something new in the middle of everything else, you know, so I recognize that it's something you have to get in the habit of doing, and hopefully will be not very time consuming. Will just take you a minute or two at most to enter. I've been doing a bunch of these and it doesn't take very long to do that initial part. The hard part is going back and evaluating, like, are their symptoms improving on day 3, day 4, and that kind of thing. So it takes a little more digging.
And this will be for all infections, not just UTI.
Yes, this will be any antibiotic that's ordered gets entered into this database. And right now, the database is not fully ready. For instance, we don't have all our antibiotics on the database. And so we are working on getting that updated, hopefully by tomorrow. There's been a little busyness this week. But we're going to get, all of the antibiotics that are in pharmacy will be on that list. So whatever's ordered, you can just click. So the cottage nurse, what's the cottage nurse have to do in all of this process? So the resource nurse or clinic nurse has contacted the provider, gotten an order. Now the cottage nurse is going to, what the cottage nurse has already been doing pretty much, is start the acute nursing care plan for the UTI. And then we have a new tool that the nurse will need to use. So there is a copy of a new UTI plan that is in here that is diagnosis urinary tract infection. I am going to be updating the folder. I didn't get that done before the meeting today, but I'm going to update what's on the folder on the SharePoint so that we've got all the right stuff. And then I want everybody to look at this antibiotic monitoring tool. This is something to help us figure out what are the residents' symptoms as they progress day to day on the antibiotic. Are they improving? Are they getting worse? Are they staying the same? And so this is a check form. So for instance, for UTI, we would come in, start the care plan, start the antibiotic. The next day would be day 1, and you just go put a little check mark next to any of the symptoms that the resident is having on that day, and go across each day. And that also can be the part of the basis for the progress note, because you have to do a progress note on the care plan at least once every day. And so this will help with document those symptoms in the progress note. We may not go all the way out to day 7 with this, depending on the course of the antibiotic, if they're really responding and the antibiotic gets stopped sooner, it may get stopped sooner. If the antibiotic course goes on a lot longer, we're not gonna keep extending this out to where you're doing this for 21 days because it keeps getting extended 3 days or 5 days or something. Well, that'll be part of the follow-up monitoring on the antibiotic. But if the antibiotic were to be changed, so say we started this and then the culture came back and they're resistant to whatever they're on, so we're gonna start a different antibiotic. You're gonna finish this sheet, start a brand new sheet with the name of the antibiotic up on the top, and track that antibiotic. That will help us kind of keep things separate.
Question, because I don't think we ever went over, what are we doing with it, this worksheet? Because it's just a tool, it's not a form that we're retaining necessarily. What are we doing with it afterwards so we don't end up with piles of it?
We don't need it.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay, so it's gonna,
So it
she's
gets
gonna
shredded.
talk about the scanning, so it's gonna be captured online.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the tool,
The tool,
shred.
it gets shredded,
Correct.
yes.
Okay.
So there's the tool. And you can see at the very bottom, it has the night shift nurse, the night shift RN3 or night shift resource nurse will scan this nightly to me, and then I will be adding the information into the database, keeping up on all that, and this can be shredded once we're on the last page. It can just go away.
Might wanna see where that goes.
I was just
Scan
thinking that.
too.
So is there anyone else that would need this
Yeah,
besides
so.
the doc?
Actually, we're gonna ask, each of the cottage nurses to scan these on a nightly basis,
We are,
yes.
okay,
Making sure a resource nurse gets around to everyone who may be on an antibiotic on campus might be difficult.
Okay.
We want these scanned to a distribution group on a daily basis. IT has, or is in the process of setting up a button, so every cottage will have a button on the printer, scan it to the button, which will include a distribution list of you, pharmacists, the providers, and I forget who else is on that list.
maybe the team lead or,
Team leads, CMRNs, I think are, they are
Make a
in
picture.
fours, but
Okay.
this is,
What it looks like.
Awesome.
not a specific to a resource nurse task.
okay. Well, thank you for that clarification. So all nurses are gonna use it. And that will make it really easy to have that button, because otherwise, yeah, it can be quite a hassle. Any other questions about that form? Anything I didn't cover? Any other questions about that?
And we're close to having a procedure just for that part, I think published today or tomorrow.
Okay.
That's right on it.
And then me, the infection preventionist, I review all end of the day antibiotic reports from the pharmacy that I was talking about. That's a daily email they send out. I also get notifications when anybody enters, so if you enter something on your shift, I'll have a notification in my box that you added that to the database, and I'll follow up on that. I look at all the infection control lab reports every day and then do the effectiveness section of that. So, if you have any questions about this, or people that are viewing this online, if you want to send your questions to me either at 1951 or via email, I can answer those for you. We're not gonna talk about specific resident issues in this group setting because we're being videotaped, but we can address those individually.